Well, we didn't quite get our wish from last week. We don't get to talk about a win yet, but we do get to talk about a home game for Robert Morris in 2019. They're taking on Bellarmine at the Joe Saturday at noon. The home opener is at long last here. I do feel though, like in that Georgetown game, Coach, there were very apparent improvements just across the board, and there were things that the team can feel good about going forward. What were some of the things you saw out there in that second game?
Yeah, like always, I mean, that was our focus, was to find a way to get better, and obviously we were disappointed in week one with the way we played, results aside, but, we got back to fundamentals and the things that showed up on film that we need to do a better job of, and, a lot of that, I mean, in between the lines was making sure that we took advantage of our numbers. Offensively and defensively, we felt like we gave up too much transition against Penn State in week one, and, certainly wanted to make that up on the defensive end this week, and, same thing on the flip side with offense. We wanted to make sure we really focus on the execution. We had a lot of number advantages against Penn State, but just didn't end up getting the ball in the back of the net. So really keyed in on the numbers in between the lines and the execution on both ends of the field, and just getting back to fundamentals and what we need to do at a high level.
How exciting was it to see Trey perform at the level he performed this past Saturday and really look like, I'm sure, the Trey Arnold that you recruited several years ago?
Yeah, I mean, him and Michael have been tremendous. I mean, they're both benefiting from going against each other, and those guys know, and we know that they're both more than capable on any given day, and we're certainly going to need both of those guys throughout the season. And that day was Trey's, and he stepped up and certainly produced at the face-off X, and helped us out offensively as well. So any given day, one of them's getting the better of the other, and it goes back and forth. So we're just excited about both those guys with competing against each other, and then what they'll be able to each do on game day.
The team culture, which everybody boasts about around here, seems to really have made a positive impression on Michael in particular in his first year. How proud are you of your players to see them, pick up the torch, if you will, and continue to, practice what you're preaching, so to speak?
Yeah, there's a lot of pride in it. I mean, I think above everything else in our program, I mean, we start with culture as the foundation, and the core values that we have within the program, the mission statement. I mean, that stuff was all formed in the early years of our program, and it's what still connects us to the guys that first put on these jerseys. So it means a lot to us to continue in the same approach that we always have from day one. And again, certainly proud of the leadership right now that we have, and making sure that that's across the board from them down all the way through the freshmen.
Another thing that's been happening since the early days of the program, playing Bellarmine. For those scoring at home, this is the most commonly played non-conference opponent that the team has had. What makes them an intriguing opponent, aside from the fact that so many games between you over the years have been close?
Yeah, I mean, again, they are the team that we've played, nearly every year. There was one cancellation years back, and that was the only year we actually didn't play them. So, it's been they came into Division I the same year that we did, I believe, and we've kept the tradition ever since. And for us, it's a common opponent, but like always, we're going to make sure that we stick to what we need to be doing, because again, out of week one and week two, our primary focus is just improving upon our fundamentals and what we like to do from a stylistic standpoint. So, as always, Bellarmine's going to be Bellarmine, and we're going to come out and play the way that we need to play.
One of the things that you and I were kind of talking about off camera last week is just the ability of Alex Hager to kind of flush a bad game, that first game kind of out of his mind, maybe even better than you did in your own goaltending days. That second game, I mean, he really seemed to look like his optimal self. I mean, even more so than usual.
Yeah, and we didn't feel like he performed poorly in week one. It was just more so that, with the shot selection that he gave, that we gave up as a team, we kind of left him out to dry a little bit. So we certainly were confident that he was going to rebound, like you said. I mean, we always know he can hit that reset button, and, certainly felt like he did that going into week two there. And, we know he's back to form like always coming into this week.
Offensively, Ryan Smith, I know we had talked in the offseason about him taking on a little bit of a different role this year with the roster attrition being what it was. He gets a hat trick for you on Saturday, ends up leading the team offensively with 4 points. He seems to be handling that new that shift in responsibilities okay, all things considered.
He is. I mean, we're extremely confident in Ryan's abilities and what he's capable of doing every day. I mean, he shows it to us in practice on a daily basis, and we feel like from just a team offensive standpoint, he kind of makes everybody else click around him. So even when he's not necessarily the benefactor of the points, he's drawing the attention and getting other guys open. So he's really taken on that quarterback role in addition to being a transition and an off-ball guy. He's now able to really draw attention off the dodge and open other guys up as well. So just confident in what he's going to keep growing into as the season moves on here.
And lastly, again, the team, week 1 compared to week 2, things seem to be generally trending upward. What does the team need to do to continue trending in that direction and hopefully close the deal, get that first win of the season?
Yeah, like always, we're gonna put the primary focus on our transition game. We feel like we need to keep improving in that area, as that is our game, and we plan on, like always, getting better and better with that throughout the season. So the focus is still on the transition game at both ends of the field. Again, getting back to fundamentals, good off-ball play offensively, making sure we're sharing the ball and keeping things simple, and on the defensive end, making sure that we're playing sound 1v1 fundamental defense and getting our side packages behind it. So as always, just focusing on the stuff that needs to be done on a daily basis regardless of the situation.
And we will see head coach Drew McMinn and the Colonials this approaching Saturday at the Joe. The 2019 curtain raiser as far as the home schedule goes. Bellarmine, the competition, the opening face-off at 12. Admission free as always, and you can see it for free, for that matter, on NEC Front Row. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Matt.